Today we're going to be showing you how to install Boost Auto Parts color changing switchback lights into mirrors that previously had Boost Auto Parts dual function harness installed. If your mirrors did not have this installed, please reference a separate Boost Auto Parts video. Boost Auto Parts offers the switchback lights as standalone products as well as in mirrors. If you don't want to have to take apart your mirror to install this product, please feel free to purchase mirrors with the switchbacks pre-installed at boostautoparts.com. We're going to begin by removing the glass on the mirrors. This procedure can be done on the truck or on a bench as shown here. If you have Boost Auto Parts mirrors as well as many aftermarket mirrors, your glass will remove exactly as shown here, but we do recommend watching the Boost Auto Parts video specifically for how to remove your glass, as there are various different methods for removing the glass. If you do break your glass, Boost Auto Parts does stock a full range of glass compatible with all mirrors on the market. So we'll just go ahead and snap the upper glass off now. And then if you have any wires running to the back of it, you'll just go ahead and unplug everything. Now we'll just go ahead and telescope the mirror out. Now we're going to remove the 4 or 5 mounting screws for the front shroud. You'll have one here, 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 and here. The OEM one also has another one right here. If you have aftermarket mirrors, these are likely Phillips head screws. If you have OEM mirrors, it's a T15 star bit. After that's done, we'll just go ahead and remove the front shroud and unplug the cargo light. Now we're going to remove this front light. Again, if you have OEM mirrors, it's going to be a star bit. If you have aftermarket, it's going to be Phillips head. So you're just going to go ahead and remove these 2 screws and unplug the front light. It's going to have a different connector depending on if you have aftermarket or OEM. We'll just go ahead and unplug it. After the screws are removed, we'll just kind of lift the front shroud up, just like so, and then the light can be removed. Now we have our new switchback provided by Boost Auto Parts. We're just going to go ahead and put that into the mirror. It's important to note that these are marked right and left, so you want to ensure you have the correct side. These use sealed OEM type connectors, and there's also a semi-permeable membrane. When you're installing it, be sure not to damage that semi-permeable membrane. Now we're going to go ahead and put the switchback in. To do that, we'll go ahead and lift the front plate, and then we're going to place the light in. It's important to note that the switchback will sit down on these plastic bosses that come up. You want to feel it latch down onto those bosses and fit perfectly before you screw it together. So go ahead and put the new light in. And again, we're going to just feel that it's lined up with those bosses good. Then we're going to take the front cover, come down with it, and those holes should be perfectly aligned in through here. Do not just screw down. Make sure you're holding it and then screw it. Now you need to remove the module that was previously installed from the Boost Auto Parts dual function harness. All 88 to 13 trucks will have this located behind the glass. However, some 14 to 18 trucks will have it located on the main wiring harness outside of the mirror. We will show you how to remove the module on both designs, beginning with behind the glass. However, you only need to follow the directions for where your module is. If your module is behind the glass, disregard the portion of the video that shows how to remove it on the wiring harness, as that's not applicable to you, and vice versa. First thing you're going to go ahead and do is cut out the dual function module. So that's going to be 3 connections you're going to cut. So we'll cut the output wire as well as the inputs. Now to begin, we're going to start by stripping the insulation off the orange wire that was ran through the body of the mirror previously. And then we're going to strip the insulation off the power wire on the pigtail. This wire color may vary, but in this case it's blue. The other wire that was originally running to the dual function module, in this case it was blue, will just be left disconnected. You'll use some tape and just put it off to the side. Now we're going to go ahead and reconnect the orange running light power feed directly to the pigtail for the front light. In this case we're going to be using a butt connector, but you can also heat shrink and solder this if you'd like. Now if you had 2014 to 18 mirrors, your dual function harness is likely installed on the mirror harness. This would be for OEM mirrors or any mirrors purchased from Boost Auto Parts. If your mirrors are from Boost Auto Parts, the dual function harness would be under a piece of shrink wrap, so we'll start by cutting that back. While you're doing this, be careful not to nick any wires. I'll go ahead and remove any electrical tape that may be there. Now your wires may be in a different connector or a different location depending on the exact build of your mirrors, but the first thing we're going to want to do is unplug the T-tap. Now we need to reconnect the wires that this module is intercepting. In this case, it's blue wires. If you have OEM mirrors, it may be an orange wire. So basically what we're going to do is cut those wires out so the module is completely removed. Then we'll strip back the insulation on the wires we're going to reconnect. Now I just want to reconnect these wires. On OEM mirrors, it'll be an orange wire. If you have boost mirrors, it'll be a blue wire. In this case, we're going to be using a butt connector, but you can also use shrink wrap and solder or whatever you'd prefer. You can leave the T-tap on your signal wire if you'd like, or you can go ahead and remove it. So we've unplugged it from the signal and reconnected the wires. On boost mirrors, it'll be a blue wire you're reconnecting. On OEM mirrors, it'll be an orange wire. We're going to plug the pigtail that was originally for the front light into the Boost Auto Parts adapter harness. Now it is important to note there are two different plugs on the Boost Auto Parts adapter. You will only use one of them. If your front light used a different plug than the two plugs on the Boost Auto Parts harness, you likely also received this adapter. Just use this adapter to convert the plug. Now we're going to take our T-tap provided in the Boost Auto Parts kit and connect it to the signal on glass power wire. This will vary in color depending on exactly where your mirrors are from. Could be blue, red and orange, red and blue. Just basically locate the power wire for the signal on glass and put the T-tap on that. Then you're going to take the red wire with blue stripe from the Boost Auto Parts adapter and plug it into the T-tap. And then basically you're just going to want to kind of tuck all these wires out of the way so that the shroud can come back on. Now we're going to start putting the shroud back on by plugging in the cargo light. Now when you're going back on with the front shroud, you're going to start by getting the switchback fitted over here. You should feel it kind of fit together. And then you're going to go ahead and snap the other side over. And when you're going together with it, you're going to want to kind of hold your arm across the middle and then screw down. Be sure you're screwing straight down. Now we'll go ahead and telescope the mirror back in. Now we'll just put the glass back on. Now there are 3 stabilization pins on the back of the upper glass. Those go inside these 3 areas here, so you're going to want to make sure that those are within there. So go ahead and just plug back in all the connections on the upper glass, and then we'll go ahead and put it back on. Now it's important to note if any of your caps came loose during this entire process, please make sure that you snap them back on. Boost Auto Parts, aftermarket, accessory solutions.